Hi, folks that are at home or maybe want to get a little bit more help on this topic about the mole and conversions using the mole. I wanted to go over slides 10 and 11 for anyone that might have been absent, just because this is such an important concept and also can be a little bit tough for folks sometimes. So hopefully you've gone through all the slides up to slide 10, so you can see, about going in class, this PowerPoint's in Google Classroom like normal. The goal was to be able to explain why October 23rd is Mole Day and be able to use the definitions of the mole to do dimensional analysis problems. We started off and then we talked about why we use the mole, which is because atoms are very, very small and we want to be able to talk about them. We also watched this video to look at how big a mole is, so please kind of read through those, check those out, and then once you have that, let's go ahead and come to this page where we talk about the roadmap for the moles. So you all know how to do dimensional analysis, and a lot of it's not actually all that different for moles. The thing is, when you on that first slide wrote down as many conversion factors as you could, we're actually getting a whole periodics table's worth of conversion factors today with the mole. So if you can copy this part down on your page, on your notes, a mole is equal to three things. And you might say, well, hey, that's kind of weird. But if you think about it, we've done a lot of dimensional analysis problems in this class. And we've done things where sometimes we went from kilograms to grams. And in that case, a kilogram was equal to 1,000 grams. And we've done things where we went from kilograms to pounds, right? If we were going from imperial to metric. And in that case, a kilogram was equal to 2.2 pounds. And then sometimes we even used a mass amount to go to a volume amount. And we did that using density conversion factors, right? Where we would have grams per milliliter, and we would say, okay, that many grams equals a milliliter. So those are all things that we've done before. And now we're doing it with the mole, which is this unit that is particular to chemistry. So the mole is equal to three things, and I went ahead and did all three now because I wanted to make sure that you saw them, and so you're not surprised later, like these are the things that it's equal to, and those won't change. And what I'd like to emphasize first is if you look at this blue and this purple or red line, these two never change, all right? It's pretty amazing, pretty fantastic, and kind of blows my mind, right? That 1 mole of any gas, so whether we are talking about helium, which is that smallest of all noble gases, or whether we are talking about a much larger molecule, like a very long, complex one, when we turn it into a gas, it's going to occupy 22.4 liters of space. And this was a very important part of Avogadro discovering and finding that number of 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. A huge part of that came from this recognition about gases. As you all know, since we've just been talking about physical properties, you know that that the molecules or the atoms spread out a lot, right, when they get to the gas state. And so the cool thing about that is they actually spread out to such an amount that they're always going to occupy this amount of space no matter how big they are. Pretty cool, pretty crazy, connects with density and lots of other things, but I want to move on just to make sure we get through everything here. The other thing a mole can be equal to is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms or molecules. So you can see here I wrote particles because atoms and molecules are particles. You can also have ions or other very small charged particles, and so I wanted to name it particles, so you can see we're going to atoms or molecules, all right? So if you have a dimensional analysis problem where you are going from moles to particles, like atoms or molecules, you're going to use this conversion factor right here. This one also will never change, so I'm going to add that of any material, okay? So these two, they're great. They're just like a foot is 12 inches. We memorize them. Or, a kilogram is 1,000 grams. We memorize them. We move on with our lives. It's pretty awesome. This one is the one that folks have trouble with because it changes. Just like density, it's something that we're either going to have to look up or we're going to have to calculate to use in this conversion. All right, so this is the one where a mole is equal to the molar mass. That molar mass is specific to a specific material. All right, and that number comes from the periodic table. So the periodic table that you've been working on in class, at the beginning of class each day, has all the elements up to iron today. And we use our periodic tables in order to calculate the atomic or molar masses. So I'd like to make a note here real quick, which is that on your periodic table, you drew a little box and you said, okay, you know, this is my symbol, and this is my atomic number up here, and this is my atomic mass. And we defined them previously. What we're going to do is add a note to that atomic mass and say molar mass is atomic mass when dealing with just one atom. Okay? And then molar mass is all the atomic masses added for a molecule, right? Or a compound. So definitions help, but sometimes the best thing we can do is kind of see an example. So let's try some examples here. Wait 1 second for you to get that down. All right, so we've got a periodic table here, so I'm going to be pulling that in, and I will be giving you one in class, next class, that you can grab. Let's do some example problems here. So these are all currently just one-step dimensional analysis problems. And the problem I'm going to do is, if I have 5 moles of iron oxide, okay, that's not the best problem, but we'll work with it. If I have 5 moles of iron oxide, all right, how many liters of gas do I have? How many liters of gas do I have? All right, and let's solve it. So here, 5 moles of FeO2. Remember, so for this one, it doesn't actually matter that it is iron peroxide, because it's always going to be the same. So in this case, 1 mole is equal to 22.4 liters. The moles cancel out. 5 times 22.4 is going to give us how many moles? Sorry, not how many moles, actually how many liters. So 5 times 22.4, right, 112 liters of FeO2 gas. All right, well that's just like all the other ones we've done, right? So no particular trouble there. All right, well, let's use that same amount of moles, right? So here I have 5 moles of FeO2. How many molecules of the compound do I have? Okay, well, this one's actually also the same in that I'm going to take my 5 moles, put it right here, going from moles to molecules to particles. So I'm going to be setting it up like this. All right. Well, my conversion factor over the arrow tells me that 1 mole is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. All right. So the moles cancel out, and I have 5 times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So remember, when we do scientific notation, if you have a calculator that does scientific notation, then you are sitting high, sitting pretty, and if you don't, then we have to simplify it, right? So this is coming back to at the beginning of the year. 30 is not technically in scientific notation because it's not between 1 and 10, so I need to rewrite 30 in scientific notation. Well, I need to move the decimal once to the left to make it a number that's between 1 and 10. So I moved it once. Well, 3 is definitely not 30. To make it 30, I need to be multiplying by 10, so I'm going to have a positive exponent. And I move the decimal one time, so that is 1. I carry the times 10 to the 23rd along for the ride, and then I can simplify. Remember, the exponent laws tell us that when we have two things with the same base, we can add our exponents, so our final answer is 3.011 times 10 to the 24th molecules of FeO2. So if you remember that video just recently about how big is a mole, and there's that beautiful analogy about marshmallows, 12 miles of marshmallows deep, but being able, like if we had a mole of marshmallows on the planet, but being able to hold a mole of atoms in your hand sometimes. A lot of times, especially up to that, where we are on the periodic table so far, that is absolutely an amount in grams that we could hold, and it has 6 times 10 to the 23rd atoms in it. So this is really, really cool, right? Because we can actually start to talk about how many atoms are in something that we are working with. And so when we are going to particles or atoms, we're using Avogadro's number. Some people remember it as Avogadro's number. It is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. And that is how we get between the two. So last one, and this is the one that probably tends to lose folks the most, is the molar mass, all right? But it's so important because when we go into the lab, we measure using mass, right? So we use this one a lot. So let's do an example here real quick. All right, so if I was using just iron, right, if I look at my periodic table, iron's right here, number 26, and its atomic mass is 55.845, right? And that atomic mass, as we wrote a note about, would be the molar mass if we were just dealing with iron. But we know that only the noble gases like to be on their own. Pretty much everything else on the periodic table will be bound with something, even if it's just with itself. So our first step in this, if we have 5 moles of FeO2 equals how many grams, right? Our first step is to go to the periodic table and figure out our molar mass. Well, when I look at this equation, I can see I have 1 atom of iron, because it's written there. If there's no number, it's implied to be a 1. And I have 2 atoms of oxygen. Well, I just said that the mass, okay, the atomic or molar mass, as we're calculating it, of iron, okay, iron is 55.845 grams per mole. Oh, that looks familiar, huh? Doesn't that look familiar? Because we talked a lot in density about grams per something, right? So this many grams is equal, whenever we see per, we know that means equals 1 mole. All right, now we want to do oxygen. Oxygen has a little 2 next to it, so we know that there are 2 oxygen atoms in this molecule or compound. So if I go up to my periodic table, oxygen's right up here. It has a mass of 15.994 grams per mole. 15.994 grams per mole. All right, we're going to do some math real quick. Add those up. 55.845 plus, this here so you can see what I'm doing, 2 times 15.994. Well, that's going to tell us that 87.833 grams of FeO2 equal 1 mole of FeO2. And I got that because grams per mole, I added up all the grams per mole, and this many grams is per mole, which means equals 1 mole. Well, now that looks a lot like a normal dimensional analysis problem again, doesn't it? So 5 moles of FeO2, well, I want to get rid of moles, specifically moles of FeO2. And I can get to grams of FeO2. This isn't something I've mentioned, but I want to point out that I am writing both moles and the compound. When I solve this, it'll be how many grams of FeO2 were created, and that's how we would solve for molar mass. So let's go ahead and do that. 87.833 times 5, 439.165 grams of FeO2. There are lots of problems here, and I'd recommend practicing as much as you can. Thanks.